As a beginner still learning this wonderful medium that is polymer clay, I'm going to share with you how I got started. So if you're ready, then keep watching. Hey guys, Stephanie with Stephanie Jules, and if you're a beginner just like I'm a beginner, then this is the video for you. Because in this video I'm going to share with you, as you can see right here on my table, the tools that I use to get started with polymer clay. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of tools here right now, as before I even started looking at videos on YouTube to find out exactly what I needed to get started, this is all I knew, just by reading books or just going through Pinterest. I knew I needed some clay, something to cut the clay, something to condition my clay or roll out my clay, and in some way to store it, whether it's used or unused. So let's get started. So I'm going to move some of the stuff away. We can just kind of focus on one thing at a time. So the first thing you actually need to get started is clay. Now, as you can see, this brand is called Steffy 3. Now, before I get comments about clay, like I said, I'm still a beginner. I did not know any difference between the brands of clay they had out there on the market. When I looked at Steffy 3, Primo, and Kato, I realized that out of all the clay, this was the cheapest one with the most prettiest colors that I was looking for. So I went with this. I purchased these clay at my local craft store, whether that's Hobby Lobby, Joann, or Michael's if you're in the U.S., or in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's the clay places or the hobby places we have here. So I just chose Steffy 3 because it was different price, and as you can see in the pictures from above, the prices are a little bit different for each clay. So I went with price because I was just a beginner and didn't want to spend a bunch of money. So I used Steffy. Now, this is a piece of the actual Steffy clay. It is very easy to tear and squish. And I think this is why I started with Steffy too once I opened up the packet, because it was easier to do something with it. But later on, as I went through many videos, as I stated before, I was able to see that yes, this is going to be the best clay if you're trying to do certain items. But if you're a beginner, you don't know that yet, just like I didn't know that when I first started. So I bought the Steffy 3, and yes, I'm going to use it still. So if you stay to the end of this video, I will show you some of the very first pieces I made using Steffy 3. So stay to the end and you will see those pieces. The next thing you will need to get started with is something to cut your clay with. So these three tools is what I had. Before I bought this one, before I even grabbed this, I had this utensil, which is a plastic knife that I got from any type of to-go utensils you get from restaurants. So I just need something to actually cut the clay with. And like I said, with this being Steffy 3, I found out that this clay was a little bit easier. So as you can see, that cuts it. When this wasn't working, if I had a different type of clay block, which is, I'll mention that in a future video down the road, I actually would have to use something a little more sturdier. So I use a dull old kitchen knife from my kitchen cabinet, and this cuts too. Now I do want to say that once you use any type of utensil from your kitchen, do not put it back in your utensil. You must use this as a dedicated clay tool. Now, even though clay is non-toxic, I believe somewhere in the description or in the fine print it says do not, ingest it or do not use tools that you use to eat with food, because the bacteria will be hard to clean on it. Now, of course, you can wash it and reuse it again, but if you're like me, you got tons of dull knives, just go ahead and keep this in your tool kit. But over time, I end up investing in an actual clay blade. This one has a guard on it, but it's just a regular razor blade. And some of the blades will actually have handles, so that way you can actually cut the blade a little bit easier. See, it just slices like that and cuts it. So this is a basic one I found, once again, at a local hobby store or craft store. I'll leave links below where you can find all these materials that you can get this stuff at. But that's the second thing you would need in order to get started with clay. Before I go any further, if this information is so helpful for you, then hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for more content just like this. Another thing you need is to condition your clay. Now, the main tools you need to even start conditioning are these babies right here. That's it. Conditioning just means taking your clay and getting it soft so that way you can get ready to work it. Whether it's rolling into a ball, rolling into a snake, either right here with your hands, this right here is conditioning. Now, with Sculpey 3, if you started using this first, you can see it's very easy to condition. However, if you use any other clay, such as Primo or Kato or any of the other ones out there, this will be a little bit hard to do. As well for those who might have a little difficulties using your hands. Because even with the harder clay, just doing this will actually start making the palm of your hand hurts. So this is why I invested in what is known as an acrylic rod. And you can get this also down below in the description. I'll leave a link for this. But it just makes it easier to kind of roll it out and condition it. But before I end up getting this rod, I actually just used my hands until I realized using my hands it was hurting a little bit. Have you started playing with clay? If so, write "claying around" in the comments down below. My last point that I like to bring up to you is how to store your clay. And right now I just use a basic container, and as you can see from the actual thumbnail earlier, and I'll put a picture right here so you can see on the screen. This is just a basic toolkit that you can put tools in the tray, and it has, I believe, 64 carts or 64 of these trays you can pull out. And as you can look here, 2 blocks of 2-ounce clay will fit in there. Now, it will not fit on top of each other because it won't fit in the drawer, but it will fit like this. If you found that this information is to be helpful for beginners such as yourself, like I'm a beginner, then make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, ring that bell, and also share it with another beginner so that way they too can find out that you don't need a lot of tools to get started with polymer clay. Now, as promised, here is the very first pieces that I made using Sculpey 3 clay. These pieces right here, as you can see, they're not the prettiest. I just, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing with it. I just basically flattened it out, got a little cup, a little top such like this to cut circles in it. And this is just tops off a milk carton or off a juice and water bottle. And I just kind of got some clay. I'll show you a little bit. Just kind of roll it flat. Oops, lost my little, roll it out, cut it, and there goes my very first piece that I made. So flatten out, and then I baked it. So as you can see, it's pretty hard, and this is Sculpey 3, which as you can see, it breaks. But I learned that over time that you can't use certain clay because even if you baked it, and this was probably baked probably a year ago, and as you can see, it broke. So I know now that Sculpey 3, you can use it, but you might have to use it along with other pieces of clay such as Primo or Kato. But like I said, the first pieces when you're first coming out as a beginner won't be the prettiest. And like I said, I'm still a beginner, but over time, after watching many more videos, which is over here, I started making other pieces, such as this. Pieces like that. It has the front and the back, or either way, depending how you want to look at it. Also made my own little beads. And if you're wondering what these designs are, these are from what they call cane work, where you make canes and then you actually cut them out. And this is kind of what a cane is. I'm still learning how to make canes, so like I said, I'm still a beginner. I'm still watching plenty of videos out there to see how this works. But yeah, you just take different basic shapes of canes, you put them together, and it makes shapes like this. And then when you slice them, you can have pieces like this, and then you get some type of tool or stencil or anything, punch a hole in it, and that's what these come out here and make. So, as a beginner, I'm still learning about clay, but I'm not going to give up on it. This is going to be a journey, and I hope to see you follow me along with the journey as well. So once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ring that bell, and that way you can be notified on my new videos as I am still learning this journey, and hopefully you can be a part of the journey too, and together we can turn pieces such as this into a lot better pieces like this, or even more complex pieces. So once again, this is Stephanie with Steffi Jewels, and you'll never know what treasures you'll find here at Steffi Jewels. Hope to see you soon. Bye!